The grid for round 18 saw Dion Joubert and BMW Envirocar teammate Sean van der Linde on the front row. Terry Moss in the Audi Quattro and Grant McCleary in the Opel Vectra were on row 2. Julian Bailey shared the third row with Janil de Villiers in the BP Nissan Sentra. Sassel Ford Mondeo teammates Sarel van der Merwe and Steve Windham were alongside each other on row 4. Nick de Waal in the BP Nissan Sentra and Sabine Reck in the Motorplan BMW completed the top 10. All set for round 18 of the AA Fleetcare Super Touring Championship at East London. The lights are green, a clean getaway for the BMWs on the front row. Terry Moss has flopped the start again, and there are problems for Sean van der Linde in the middle of the circuit with the BMW slowing right down. Coming through from the back of the grid, Mike Briggs is one of those who have to take evasive action to miss the van der Linde BMW. Starting from the back of the grid is unfamiliar territory for Briggs, who has Marco dos Santos ahead of him as one of the Sassel Fords goes wide coming out of Bonner's Pass. Dion Joubert leads Julian Bailey through rifle range with BP Nissan Sentra third. Sarel van der Merwe is fourth in the Sassel Ford and Grant McCleary fifth. It's hard on the brakes for the 90-degree right-hander at Cocobana, and someone has overdone it. Sabine Reck locked up everything on the BMW Motorplan, and there are cars flying all over the circuit. Terry Moss and Marco dos Santos are off, and Sabine Reck and Steve Windham have made heavy contact. The BMW isn't going anywhere, and this race could be stopped as Janil de Villiers nips into second place behind Dion Joubert at the S's. Sarel van der Merwe is fourth, Grant McCleary fifth, and Briggs is up to seventh. Sean van der Linde is mobile again as the leaders start the climb up to Beacon Bend, but the red flags are starting to come out all over the circuit. The race has been stopped. Super Touring clerk of the course, Steve Harding, has stopped the race on lap 1. The red flags are out on the pit straight as the cars slow down to regroup on the grid, and we take another look at the incident at Cocobana that has led to the red flags. Sabine Reck in the Motorplan BMW in the middle of the pack left her braking very late. There was heavy contact between 3 or 4 cars in the melee and a big confrontation between the Motorplan BMW and Steve Windham's Sassel Ford Mondeo. Back on the grid, and there are worried faces in the Rothmans Audi camp, and they are wheeling Terry Moss's car off the start line. The BMW crew also worked frantically on Sean van der Linde's car on the grid. He went out on the warm-up lap, but will start from pit lane as the race is restarted, and it looks as though everyone got underway okay, but there are more problems for van der Linde. The BMW Envirocar is stranded in pit lane. Race cam action from Nick de Waal's Nissan at Potter's Pass, and de Waal and Steve Windham are fighting over the same piece of track. This is hold on to your hat and take a deep breath stuff. Neither driver is prepared to give an inch as they charge after Sarel van der Merwe and the rest of the pack. Dion Joubert leads Grant McCleary, Julian Bailey and Janil de Villiers into Cocobana. Sarel van der Merwe is fifth with half a dozen cars fighting over sixth place. Steve Windham nips inside the Dos Santos VW Vento, and Briggs has gone with him. The Sassel Ford and the Opel Vectra will have the legs on the Jetta up the beach straight towards the S's. Round 17 winner Dion Joubert leads Grant McCleary's Opel Astra into the S's and Cox Corner. Julian Bailey is third in the Minolta Toyota Camry, with Janil de Villiers fourth in the BP Nissan Sentra. That will be encouraging for the BP Nissan squad, who haven't had much luck this season, and the crew did a great job in just getting young de Villiers onto the grid for both races. Race cam action from the Briggs Opel Vectra, with the new champion down in 8th position and chasing after Steve Windham. Julian Bailey has also done a great job for Toyota. He's fought a lone battle for the team after Anthony Taylor's crash in round 17, but he could soon find himself coming under a little pressure from Janil de Villiers. The forecast was for rain, but the weather has held, although it's starting to get a little gloomy as Dion Joubert leads the pack down the pit straight at the end of lap 1 with no major incident this time around. Hot on the heels of the Class A cars come the Class B brigade, with Leon Marie ahead of Duncan Voss and Hein Latgaden. Dion Joubert's win in round 17 brought him to within 1 point of Grant McCleary in the AA Fleetcare Super Touring Championship, with the pair fighting over second place behind champion Mike Briggs. The Joubert-McCleary battle looks as though it could go all the way to the wire, but another win in this race will edge Joubert ahead of McCleary. Steve Windham got a little tough at the backside from Briggs at Cocobana, and dear me, Briggs doesn't appear at all happy. There was a lot of arm waving going on in the Opel Vectra, and Briggs is a little peeved. Grant McCleary had a bit of a problem getting past the Sassel Fords in round 17, and Briggs is having the same problem here. At the head of the field, Dion Joubert leads Grant McCleary, Julian Bailey, Janil de Villiers and Cyril van der Merwe into the S's. Briggs is having another go at Wyndham. Mike Briggs has made a desperate move down the inside at Cox Corner. The Sassel Ford shot off the inside of the circuit as Briggs spins out in the oval. More drama in round 18 of the AA Fleetcare Super Touring Championship as we take a look at that incident from the race cam in the Briggs Oval Vectra. Mike Briggs had two wheels over the curbs and he dived for the inside of the Sassel Ford Mondeo, and it'll be surprising if Super Touring clerk of the course Steve Harding doesn't want a word or two with Mike Briggs immediately after this race. Into the pits comes Steve Wyndham in a Sassel Ford Mondeo that has been in the wars today, but out on the circuit, Class B leaders Leon Marie and Duncan Foss are involved in another titanic battle. The lead must have swapped 15 or 16 times between these two in round 17 and in this race. And they're at it again. Championship leader Curtis Wonderful is out of this race, and it looks as though Duncan Foss could move to the top of the Class B leaderboard at the end of today. Back in the pits, Steve Wyndham and Sabina Reck look a little forlorn, as well they might after their trials and tribulations. Race order at the halfway mark, and Dion Joubert leads from Grant McCleary with Julian Bailey third. Janil de Villiers is still holding on to fourth ahead of Cyril van der Merwe, with Nick de Waal also in the points. Chris Aberdeen is seventh in the second Rothmans Audi Quattro, with Mike Briggs back on the circuit after his coming together with Steve Wyndham. The tightest battle on the circuit as van der Merwe sandwiched between the BP Nissan Sentras of de Villiers and de Waal, with Dion Joubert gradually starting to pull away from Grant McCleary at the front of the field. Problems for Nick de Waal. The Nissan is off the circuit at the S's. He just went straight on, and that looks like a tyre blowout or suspension failure. Nissan's run of bad luck continues as Dion Joubert leads Grant McCleary and Julian Bailey through Beacon Bend, with time running out for the pair chasing after the BMW Envirocar. Joubert looks to have this race under control, and there doesn't seem to be much either McCleary or Bailey can do about it. De Villiers still leads van der Merwe, with Chris Aberdeen in the second Rothmans Audi Quattro into sixth and in the points. Surprise, surprise, the Class B battle still rages on, and Leon Marie in the Bankfin Toyota Sprinter is under enormous pressure from the Accord Nissan Sentra in the hands of Duncan Foss. There's just been no let-up in the battle between these two. This has been the scrap of the day, and Duncan Foss is really hard at work as he tries to get close enough to Marie through the S's to make a run at him up the hill towards Beacon. Here they come, and Foss will try and duck out the slipstream and catch Marie under braking. There he goes. Foss is making his move, and can he bring it off? He's got Marie on the inside of Beacon, and that was super driving from both of them. Back in the pits, and a word with Steve Wyndham from the Sassel Ford Mondeo team.
Well, firstly, Sabine hit me in the first run. She braked a bit late. And then in the second run, Briggs just took me out in the S. He just kept pushing me completely sideways.
This is the last lap, and would you believe it, Foss and Marie are still locked together at the front of Class B, and looming up behind them is race leader Dion Joubert. Foss and Marie are wrapped up in their own little race, and this is a difficult moment from Joubert. The Class B fellows won't be thinking too much of looking in their mirrors. Both will be intent on taking their race lines, and Joubert is going to have to fend for himself. Foss is on the inside of the circuit, Marie on the outside, and Joubert is safely through. That could have been a tricky moment. Joubert has his second win of the day safely wrapped up and will go into second place in the AA Fleetcare Super Touring Championship. The checkered flag for Dion Joubert and Duncan Foss just beats Leon Marie to the line in Class B. A great double for Dion Joubert, with Grant McCleary coming home second ahead of Julian Bailey, with Janil de Villiers, Cyril van der Merwe and Chris Aberdeen also in the points. In Class B, his sixth win in a row takes Duncan Foss to the top of the championship leaderboard. Both Briggs and Reck were fined by the clerk of the course.
I must say that my car is just so good, you know. The difference between coming first and second is just a good car, and my car is so good through quarters. Being rear-wheel drive, I think that's just where it's got the edge on everybody else, and I'm just very pleased to come first.
Don't miss rounds 19 and 20 of the action-packed AA Fleetcare Super Touring Championship at Kyle Army in Midrand on Saturday the 26th of August. Be there or see highlights in the AA Racing Report, exclusively on NNTV Sport on Saturday the 2nd of September. The AA Fleetcare Super Touring Championship, Africa's most exciting racing formula.